Welcome to The Beat with Ari Melber. Tonight we are reporting here from the Supreme Court of the United States.
Just breaking in the last few minutes is this. The United States Supreme Court has voted to overturn abortion rights.
We will vote to protect a woman's right to choose, and every American.
This is Satan to me. Like this, we're now at level Satan in the Democrat Party.
My body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
My body, my choice is a pervasive, deadbeat mom argument that accomplishes nothing but excusing too many men from stepping up to their most important role as fathers.
The thing that you have to understand about kids is they're unbelievably good company. And so they pay you back for your care of them. And by being ridiculously amusing, they're little clowns. And they're doing crazy little stunts all the time. And they have a sense of humor that kicks in like by the time you're 30, say, you've seen so much of the world that you actually don't see the world anymore. And this is technically true. Like I'm old, I'm 55. When I walk down the street, there's houses. I don't look at them. I have house icons in my memory, and I just see the house icons. And so the older you get in some sense, the more what you see of the world is your memory. And that's kind of, it's efficient, but it's sort of dead. The thing that's cool about having a little kid is everywhere you go, because we're so good at putting ourselves in other people's bodies, the kid revitalizes the world, and the kid's like, oh, I mean, that's what a 2-year-old looks like all the time, right? They're just completely awestruck by everything. And you can see that again, and that's really interesting. It goes back to, having children. I suppose, too, this has been enhanced by my ill health in recent years, but I always feel that it's a privilege to spend time with my children. And I have some sense of how fast time goes. I've always had a very acute sense of the finitude of existence. And this is a good hint for people who have children, but with regards to your family members at all, is don't take it for granted. Every second you get that isn't painful, you should cherish.
I remember sitting down with Ali Stuckey, who's a podcaster, and talking to her on my show, and she had just had a child, and she said, oh, motherhood softens you in all the right ways, and I can't wait for everybody to have a child. She's like, even AOC, I want her to have a child. She said this. And she said, because things change when you have a child, and your perspectives change when you have a child, and you become softened. And I was so excited when I got pregnant because I was waiting to get softened, and lo and behold, it hardened me. And it hardened me because suddenly I look at my child and I look at him and I think, is he going to grow up in the same America I'm going to grow up in? Suddenly the fight is a lot more serious for me, right? Before it's a political perspective, now it's my child's future. Is my child going to have to think that this is normal? It started for me and realizing what the left was doing. And I had to kind of think, how do we fight as conservatives? And I had to reverse engineer and think, when did this start for me? When did I start believing this poison? And it takes me back to my childhood. It really does. Because I really do believe that everything that the left is after right now in this country is destroying families, right? And because sometimes you look out and you go, what are they doing? Like, it just seems like they're everywhere all at once, just starting fires, a little fire over here, a little fire over there, and we're just running side to side trying to put the fires out. And what's actually connecting all of these fires if the left is starting? All of these fires if the left is starting, what is the connection? What is the thread that ties them all together? Why are we talking about gendered, non-gendered restrooms, right? Like, that seems like a random fire to start. Like, nobody ever was stressed out when they saw the word bathroom on a sign. No one was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But the left picked up this battle and they stuck it to us, and suddenly we are like really in the throes of, we need bathrooms that say non-binary, full inclusion. We've got more than 26 genders. Like, why did they pick that particular battle, right? Then you look over and then you see the feminist camp, right? And you've got the women that are screeching about the patriarchy, and they want to undo traditional families, and they need men to understand how horrible and backwards they are. And they're going, why is feminism becoming so toxic, right? It's not so much toxic masculinity that concerns me as much as toxic feminism does right now in this country. You go, what's up with that, right? Then you think, what the heck is going on with, okay, you guys, you had the abortion battle, and now they're talking about wanting to abort children at 9 months in the womb. What the heck is going on? What do these three crazy things, all of these crazy things that the left is doing, have in common? And the answer is family. That's what the left is trying to do. They're trying to destroy family. If you've studied Karl Marx, if you've studied the Communist Manifesto, you know that Marxists have always wanted to attack the family. That was seen as a structure that had to be destroyed in order for Marxist ideology to flourish. So when you say, why are they telling kids to pick their genders? Why are they encouraging children to mutilate their bodies, right? Telling them in kindergarten classrooms that they can pick their genders in California. In certain districts in California, they've already passing that down, that children can pick their genders. They're trying to push through policies that allow children to get gender reassignment surgery before they are even of age. There are children that are running around saying, I am in the wrong body, I am a non-body. This term didn't exist when I was in school, right? So I know that this child is being taught that because it didn't exist 10 years ago, right? The purpose of that is because a child that mutilates their body will never have children, will never have offspring. You've already destroyed the family. When you talk about the radicalization of that, they're after family, right? When you talk about feminists and why they are constantly attacking men and trying to genuinely raise women up to believe that they should not aspire to traditional family roles, where they're telling women to do more. You should be the CEO of a company. You shouldn't think that you have to have children. You shouldn't want to have children. You should want to be both the man and the woman. In fact, at the same time that they're encouraging women to act more like men, they are encouraging men to act more like women, right? It's bizarre. It's totally crazy. They're constantly telling men this is toxic masculinity. All displays of masculinity are wrong, at the same time that they're telling women to man up. And that's to create confusion. That's because that will eventually corrode the values of family. And families will always be in the way of big government. And socialism is big government, right? They need to make sure that children that are coming up do not turn to their mother and their father at a dinner table for answers. It's the same reason why they are so actively trying to destroy the pillar of faith. Talk about a pinnacle that I thought we'd never reach in this country, shutting down churches during COVID-19, right? What was that all about? I lived in D.C. during that time. They were shutting down churches. We could no longer go to church during COVID-19. And you say, why is there this attack on churches? Why are they trying to make preachers and pastors take on this leftist ideology? Well, it's because once you remove faith, and once you remove family, the government becomes the faith. The government becomes the family. They want people to drop down on their knees and say, I'm in pain, not God, how can you help me, but government, how can you help me? What policy can the government give me to help me get on my 2 feet? That's what they want. They want to marry people to the government. The experiment, when you talk about that, when they first started realizing that that could actually be done and done successfully, was with Black America. Black America has always been the testing ground for leftist policies. Black America has always been the experiment for Democrats.